Hey guys, welcome back to another video, another hedge video. So actually I wanted to talk about alternative hedges. I'm always talking about Green Giants, Leyland Cypress, and Emerald Green hedges because they're very fast growing. But here we have, this looks like hemlock to me. It's like a hemlock hedge. And you know, I think a lot of people don't use hemlock for a hedge because it's not fast growing. It's very slow growing, but it is a pretty amazing hedge. I mean, this one right here, I don't know how old it is. It's got to be probably a good like 15-20 years old. It's so thick and it's a good height, and I bet you it grew really slow, but you know, it was definitely worth it. But again, it's your time frame, right? Like, I don't want to wait, you know, 10 years, 20 years for a hedge. So you know, I buy large, really fast growing trees. So this particular hedge is not fast growing, but you know, again, it came out really nice. I might ask this guy if I could take a bunch of clippings and try to propagate some. I do want to have some hemlocks in my property, and you know, I find that hemlocks grow in the shade, right? So that's a big thing. If you need to put a hedge in where there's not a lot of sun, you could still get a really nice dense hedge with hemlock. So yeah, so I'm gonna pause this video, drive around, see what other hedges I could find, or other trees we could use for hedges that are not green giants. But most likely if I see a nice green giant hedge or a Leyland Cypress hedge or whatever, I'll probably stop and video that too. All right, let me put this video on hold and let me see what else pops up. So here we have a rhododendron hedge. You know what's nice about rhododendrons? They're gonna have flowers. They're an evergreen. It's not a thin leaf. You know, it's a nice fat leaf. The only challenge I have with it is, you know, you could easily see through it. But rhododendrons are really nice hedge here. It's got some good. It looks like it's gonna have a ton of blooms. You know, again, really nice, draws in birds and so on. But yeah, unfortunately, you could kind of see through it pretty easily. But it's still, I don't know if you have maybe if you have rhododendrons grow in the shade. So you know, if you got a really shady area, and they got big trees, so they probably get a lot of shade. So these probably work out pretty awesome for them. Again, you get a lot of flowers, a lot of blooming, but rhododendrons do also grow slow. So again, if you're trying to get a hedge that's going to take less than, you know, several years, rhododendron might not be the best one, but you'll definitely get a lot of interest in the yard from rhododendrons. And you know, when we're back in my property, I'll show you, I planted a ton of rhododendrons in my trail and stuff, and it's not necessarily building a hedge, but I am using I do plan on using the rhododendrons to divide the trail, so it kind of gives a longer look or more secluded look. All right, yeah, so these are rhododendrons, and then we'll you know, we'll keep driving around, see what else keeps popping up. All right, so I pulled up to this spot. We got a bunch of blue spruces. They look pretty cool. You know, I do think that, you know, he's got a blue spruce here, he's got a blue spruce here. With blue spruces, there should be a larger gap in the middle because they get really large. They don't grow as fast as the green giants, but honestly, they give a lot of color and they make it look pretty cool. So, I mean, here's a blue spruce. Here's a blue spruce hedge. I've driven past here before, and they definitely put on some size. But again, they probably were grown. They were probably planted the same time these green giants were planted, and the green giants might have been slightly smaller. And now, within a few years, the green giants are huge, and the blue spruces are still the same size. And we could quickly take a look at the green giants over here, and if we look at them, I'm thinking they're about I don't know, almost 20 feet. So again, green giants growing a lot faster than the blue spruces, but definitely gives a lot of interest and color the blue spruces. I don't know how long it's going to take for them to be a true hedge. Here you can see them almost touching. And then this gentleman planted hemlock behind it. I didn't realize how popular hemlock were until now. Now I'm seeing them everywhere. But yeah, there's a bunch of hemlock behind the blue spruce. All right, yeah, let me see what else I could find. I think I saw a white pine hedge down the block, so I'm gonna drive up there and try to film that for you guys. So yeah, so blue spruces. So we got hemlocks, rhododendron, now blue spruces. Now let's see if we can find those white pines. All right, let me pause it. So I just pulled up to the white pine hedge. So, you know, traditionally this is what white pines look like, right? Where they're basically bare until they get to the top, and the top fills out. Leyland Cypress kind of do the same thing. The big difference though, these stay really nice and green, and they do give they give a really nice look to it, to the yard, compared to just the Green Giants. I mean, don't get me wrong, Green Giants look awesome, and they're dense, and you know, they get everything wrapped up. But you know, it would be super nice if you had Green Giants, and then somewhere behind there you had some white pines that were towering over the Green Giants and give a lighter look to the Green Giants. And the Green Giants in the winter turn brown or bronze, while the white pines just stay like white pines. But as you can see the white fence down there. So it's not, I wouldn't say it would resolve the issue of privacy, but you do get a nice look towards the top. And then on top of it, you definitely get a good amount of wildlife that'll come in. A lot of birds and stuff will hang out, make their nest in these. You could even eat these. I'm pretty sure you could eat the pine needles, and they're good for vitamin C. Remember doing a survival course, and they're like, yeah, eat pine needles, or white pine tree needles. So don't quote me on that. Definitely do your research before you start adding these things to your salad. But yeah, so here's a white pine hedge, looking pretty interesting. Maybe with something like this, the gaps in between the trees, you could plant a different tree to create that privacy. I don't know, just an idea. All right, so I'm gonna head back. There's actually another place that has a white pine, and it looks spectacular. So maybe I'll take a quick picture of that if I get an opportunity. And then if I see anything else, I'm actually looking for, I think they're called cherry laurel. They're a wide leaf evergreen, grows in the shade. Again, slow growing tree. This green white pine tree, fast growing tree, but the laurel, slow growing tree, but it definitely adds for good privacy. So if I see one, I'll take a quick video of that as well. Yeah, so all right, let me start heading back to my property, give you some final thoughts. Again, if I see the cherry laurel, I'll video that first, and then we'll wrap it up. So I'm still in my vehicle. It's a little sunny out, so it's kind of hard to see, but back there this gentleman has a bunch of cherry laurel. I'm pretty sure those are cherry laurel, and you know, the thing with those, they're very slow growing. I mean, they're a really nice tree. I meant shrub. You could see through them kind of easily, but people do plant them all the time. They're pretty popular because they grow in the shade, right? They're very popular for the shade, but I feel like they grow super slow. And again, like I said, myself, super impatient individual, want my hedge immediately, want privacy. So I rather just get the Green Giants. Now, Green Giants do grow slower in the shade. Not slower than the cherry laurel, but they do grow slower than Green Giant in full sun. But you know, so far I've had decent success with my Green Giants. But yeah, here's some laurel, cherry laurel, and I might even pick up some cherry laurel and plant them in my shady area in my yard in front of the Green Giants, just for more, I don't know, for a new look or a different look or whatnot. Anyhow, So these are cherry laurel. I think there was another place I saw a couple of smaller laurels that are probably the same. They're either cherry laurel or another type of laurel. If I come across it, I'll film it, but other than that, I'll head back to the property. We'll do a little final thought process, and then wrap this video up. All right, so let me put this video on hold. I'm sorry, on pause, and I will see you back at the property. All right, guys, let me give you some final thoughts on what I'm thinking as far as it goes on my property, right? So initially, this is my hedge. Let me first apologize. There's a lot of sun. There's probably a lot of glare, so I'm trying to keep the camera on an angle. Anyhow, so here's a green giant over here, and here's another green giant, and then I have this gap in the middle, right? Because I had to plant the green giants about 5.5 feet apart. So initially I was thinking just in front of the gap I would plant a cherry laurel or something, and it would have some change in texture, right? So I got this texture back here, and then I'd have like a wide leaf plant. But then I was like, you know what, instead of doing all that, why don't I plant like a fig tree or something, or a banana tree? I mean, that will really change up the texture, and then it'll add, so I could even have fruit. And here's the other thing, this whole area is blueberry bushes, so I got all these blueberry bushes all the way through. And then what I'm thinking is like, okay, green giant, blueberry bush, and somewhere in the middle have a fig tree or a banana tree or any kind of tree, but it would make it even more, at least to me, I think it would be more interesting, and I would have fruit coming off my hedge, which is pretty cool. I technically have a blueberry hedge, just, you know, and unfortunately the birds beat me out when I try to get blueberries. I think the birds eat more of the blueberries than I do, but it's still nice to have. Yeah, so that's basically it. The alternative hedges are pretty cool, but for me, I feel like I need a faster growing hedge to really get the coverage in, like we saw at the blue spruce and the green giants. Blue spruces are medium growing trees, and they were planted the same time as the green giants, and the green giants were probably 4 or 5 feet taller, and that was only maybe 3 years ago, so it's not even that much time. Yeah, and even my green giants now, it's kind of hard to see, but the little runners, I'm pretty confident are 12 feet. I'm going to do a measurement in April and give you an idea. But 2 years ago, I planted these trees, and they were below my fence line. So they were about 5.5, maybe 6 feet. And now they're probably like, last I think I measured them, they were like 11, 10.5, 11, and that's within 2 years. So in the first year, they're not really big growers. They grow slow. I also want to show you my rhododendrons real quick, because I had mentioned it before I would show them to you. So rhododendrons grow in the shade, right? So this area of my trail is usually really shady. I got these big trees everywhere. So I planted these rhododendrons, and what I'm hoping for is these rhododendrons will grow pretty big. Again, they grow slow, that's the biggest problem, but once they grow, and I got a rhododendron growing into another rhododendron, this becomes the visibility gets distracted, right? So as I walk through the trail, I could be on this side of the trail and not be able to see the hedge. Right now I could see the hedge, but I want the rhododendrons to block out the hedge. So block out the edge. So in a way, I'm trying to build a rhododendron hedge as well, just to get some extra coverage. But anything I want big, right? Like over here, I don't want to be able to see my lawn, so I threw in these green giants, planted them last year at the end of the season, and honestly I think they put on a few inches of growth already. Planted them more than 6 feet because I feel like I want them to get a little bit taller just here, so when we walk through this trellis or this tunnel, it should be blocked out. So I need a separation with these Green Giants, and the trail with the rest of the lawn. So I want to be able to walk through the tunnel, walk through another tunnel. I'm trying to grow the ivy and stuff to kind of cover this ivy and grape. This way the ivy stays green, grapes, you know, give me grapes. And I got some grapes here growing. Just regular Concord grapes, nothing crazy. But yeah, so hopefully as this stuff fills in, it'll give it kind of like I walk through one tunnel to another tunnel, and then in that area back there where you see that red pot, there'll be a pond, and hopefully I'll have some tropical plants like elephant ears and stuff to give it more of a tropical look. So I want to transform it so as soon as you walk through a tunnel, it's like you're in a different area altogether. I mean, as best as I could, right? And I mean, it's not, I'm not working with 20 acres, I'm working with an acre. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm gonna wrap this up, and I'll see you on the next one.